Have you ever felt like your energy is fading faster than it used to? Or that your body isn't quite keeping up the way it did just a few years ago? Maybe you've started noticing little changes, feeling more tired after a walk, forgetting names more often, or waking up with more stiffness than usual. You're not alone. Aging can feel like a slow unraveling of the body we used to know so well. But what if I told you that most of the things we associate with getting old aren't inevitable? That many of the most common causes of death after age 75, things like heart disease, stroke, respiratory illnesses, cognitive decline, and certain cancers, are actually influenced by the way we live every single day. It's true. In fact, researchers from the CDC and Harvard School of Public Health have found that lifestyle factors play a bigger role in longevity than genetics. That's right. How we eat, move, sleep, and connect with others can shift the odds dramatically in our favor. In today's video, we're going to break down the 5 major causes of death after age 75, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Stay with me until the end, because the last tip might be the most powerful one of all. It's something so simple, yet most people overlook it entirely. But first, a quick and important note. This video is for informational purposes only. I'm sharing publicly available research and personal experiences, not medical advice. Everyone's health is unique, so it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor before making changes to your routine, diet, or exercise plan. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person might not work for another. Alright, let's get into it. Let's start with the first habit that can completely change the way you feel every single day: moving your body. I know you've heard it before, but stick with me because this isn't about running marathons or spending hours at the gym. The number 1 cause of death after 75? Heart disease. But here's the encouraging part. According to the American Heart Association, just 30 minutes of brisk walking a day can reduce your risk of heart attack and stroke. That's it. No fancy equipment, no complicated workouts, just moving at a pace that gets your heart rate up and your lungs working. I have a friend named Jean. She's 78 and didn't start walking regularly until her early 70s. She told me once, "I just wanted to be able to keep up with my grandkids." So she started with 5 minutes a day, just walking around her block. Within a few weeks, she was up to 20 minutes. Now she walks 40 minutes every morning, rain or shine. She says it's the best part of her day. Science backs her up. A study published in the journal Circulation found that people who walked regularly had a 35% lower risk of dying from heart disease. That's massive. And the best part? It's never too late to start. And while we're on the topic of movement, let's talk about strength. Loss of muscle, what doctors call sarcopenia, is a big deal as we age. It leads to falls, fractures, and even reduced independence. But here's the hopeful twist: resistance training can reverse it. You don't need a personal trainer or a gym membership. You can use your own body weight. Push-ups against a wall, squats from a chair, lifting soup cans. These small, simple movements build muscle. A study from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that people in their 70s who did strength training just twice a week improved their balance, reduced their fall risk, and felt more confident walking. Confidence. That's a word we don't hear enough when talking about aging. But physical strength gives you confidence. The ability to stand up from a chair without help, to carry groceries, to play with your grandkids on the floor, and actually get back up without it becoming a whole production. Now let's shift gears a bit, because movement is crucial, but so is what we put on our plates. Many people believe that memory decline is inevitable with age, but studies suggest otherwise. In fact, research from the National Institute on Aging suggests that people who eat a Mediterranean-style diet, rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, olive oil, and lean proteins, may lower their risk of dementia by up to 30%. That's right. The food you eat today might literally protect your brain for years to come. There's a reason why countries like Italy and Greece, where the Mediterranean diet is common, have lower rates of cognitive decline and heart disease. The foods in this diet are packed with anti-inflammatory nutrients, healthy fats like omega-3s, and powerful antioxidants. My neighbor, Paul, started following this way of eating after his doctor told him his cholesterol was creeping up. At first, he was skeptical. "You're telling me to eat more olive oil and fish, and I'll live longer?" He laughed. But 3 months in, his blood pressure was down, his energy was up, and this part blew his mind. His memory had improved. He told me, "I can finally remember where I left my keys." Of course, it's not about perfection. You don't have to give up everything you love. It's about balance. Swap the processed snacks for a handful of almonds. Add a salad to dinner. Use olive oil instead of butter when you can. These tiny choices add up in a big way. And while these first changes can already make a noticeable difference, there's more you can do. Small daily actions that can transform how you age from the inside out. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I'm too old to start now. But here's the truth, it's never too late. Your body is incredibly adaptable, even well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. In fact, some of the most inspiring transformations I've seen have come from people who didn't start taking care of their health until later in life. One study from the University of Illinois showed that just a few sessions of aerobic exercise, we're talking walking, dancing, biking, can lead to noticeable improvements in memory and attention in older adults. Imagine that, just moving a little more each week, and your brain starts functioning better. That's the power of consistent movement. And if you're feeling overwhelmed or think, "I don't have time," let me share a little trick. Set a timer for 10 minutes. That's it. Walk around your house. Do a few stretches. March in place while watching TV. Those 10 minutes count. They add up. And often, once you get started, you'll feel good enough to keep going. Plus, you don't need a gym. Your living room, your backyard, even your kitchen can become your personal wellness space. I know a couple in their late 70s who do chair yoga in the mornings while their coffee brews. It's become their little ritual, gentle stretches, deep breaths, a shared smile. Doesn't sound like much, but over time, it's helped with back pain, mood, and even digestion. Of course, what we do with our bodies is just one piece of the puzzle. What we feed them is equally important, and what you eat today could impact how your brain works years from now. Let's talk about inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is a sneaky contributor to almost every major age-related illness. Heart disease, arthritis, even Alzheimer's. And the food we eat can either calm that fire or fuel it. A diet high in processed foods, refined sugars, and unhealthy fats. That's like throwing gasoline on the flame. But when we lean into foods like leafy greens, berries, fatty fish like salmon, walnuts, turmeric, and olive oil, we're giving our bodies what they need to repair, heal, and stay sharp. And here's something fascinating. A large study published in Neurology found that people who ate the most flavonoids, those are the natural compounds in colorful fruits and veggies, had a 20% lower risk of cognitive decline over 20 years. 20%. That's like turning back the clock just by eating more blueberries and spinach. Now, I know it's not always easy to change what we eat. Old habits die hard, and comfort foods are, well, comforting. But small swaps can make a big difference. Try roasted sweet potatoes instead of fries. Make a smoothie with berries and a handful of spinach in the morning. Switch white bread for whole grain. Little by little, you'll start to feel better, lighter, more focused, more energized. Let's not forget hydration either. As we age, our sense of thirst tends to decrease, which means many older adults walk around slightly dehydrated without even realizing it. And dehydration can lead to fatigue, confusion, dizziness, all things we might mistake for just getting old. Try carrying a water bottle with you during the day. Herbal teas count too. Even a splash of lemon or cucumber in your water can make it more enjoyable. Alright, so we've moved our bodies, fed them well, and fueled our brains. But there's something else, something just as important, if not more: sleep. Yes, good old-fashioned rest. You might laugh and say, "All I do is nap." But here's the thing. Quality sleep is different from just dozing off here and there. It's the deep, uninterrupted kind that lets your body heal and your brain reset. Unfortunately, sleep often becomes more elusive with age. Hormonal changes, medication side effects, aches and pains, they can all interfere. But here's the good news. There are simple ways to reclaim your sleep. Start with a bedtime routine. Sounds basic, right? But it's powerful. Dim the lights an hour before bed. Turn off screens. Try a warm shower or bath. Listen to calming music or a sleep meditation. These gentle cues tell your body, it's time to wind down. Avoid caffeine too late in the day. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Even a small change, like switching to a softer pillow or using blackout curtains, can improve the quality of your rest. Why does this matter so much? Because during sleep, your brain clears out waste proteins linked to Alzheimer's. Your heart rate lowers, your blood pressure drops, your muscles repair. Without enough sleep, everything suffers: your mood, your memory, even your immune system. And speaking of the immune system, let's talk about that for a second. One of the other top causes of death after 75 is respiratory illness, especially pneumonia and the flu. But here's the encouraging part. Your immune system, even in your later years, can be strengthened. Yes, getting vaccinated is important, but so is managing stress, sleeping well, eating right, and staying active. All of these things boost your immune function naturally. You're building a shield around your body, one good habit at a time. And don't forget the power of the sun. Just 15 minutes of sunlight a day can boost your vitamin D levels, which helps with bone health, immune support, and even mood. Step outside in the morning with your coffee. Feel the warmth on your skin. Breathe in the fresh air. It's a small act, but it's one that nourishes both body and spirit. So now that you've seen how movement and food can be powerful tools, let's take a look at something just as vital: how to stay motivated, even when life throws curveballs your way. If you're enjoying this so far and want more simple, science-backed tips to stay healthy as you age, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're here every week with videos to help you feel your best, no matter your age. Now let's keep going, because this next part, it's where things really start to come together. We've talked about movement, food, and sleep. These are your foundation. But let's be real, sticking to these habits isn't always easy, especially when your body feels tired, or life gets busy, or you're dealing with pain. That's why I want to talk about consistency, even when motivation isn't there. I once met a man named Paul. He didn't start strength training until he was 72. He'd been pretty inactive for years, had a sore back, stiff knees, the whole deal. But his grandson challenged him to try one of those 10 push-ups a day YouTube routines. Paul laughed at first, but he gave it a shot, started with modified push-ups at the kitchen counter. Within a few weeks, he noticed more energy. A couple months later, less joint pain. By the end of that year, he was walking 2 miles a day, doing light weightlifting at home, and feeling, in his words, 10 years younger. What changed? He didn't try to do everything at once. He just did a little, consistently. That's the secret. In fact, a study from Johns Hopkins University found that just 10 minutes of extra movement a day, even light activity, can be enough to increase lifespan. Not perfection, not hours at the gym, just a few consistent minutes. So next time you're feeling unmotivated, remember Paul. Remember that even the tiniest bit of effort counts. Now let's talk about something most people overlook when it comes to aging well: emotional and mental strength. We spend so much time focused on the physical, what to eat, how to move, but what about how we feel? What about loneliness, anxiety, grief? These are real challenges, especially in our later years, and they can have just as much impact on our health as any physical condition. In fact, research from Brigham Young University found that social isolation increases the risk of early death by as much as 29%. That's higher than obesity, and even similar to smoking. Let that sink in. Connection matters. Having someone to talk to, laughing with friends, sharing stories, being heard. If you're feeling disconnected, start small. Call someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Join a local walking group or book club. Attend a class at your community center. Volunteer somewhere that inspires you. I know a woman named Maria, in her mid-80s, who started volunteering at her library's story hour. She said, "I thought I was just helping the kids, but they gave me more than I gave them." She made new friends, felt more alive, and even said it helped her sleep better at night. That's the power of purpose. Because here's something else that might surprise you. Having a sense of purpose is linked to better heart health, lower risk of dementia, and even a stronger immune system. A study in JAMA Psychiatry found that older adults with a strong sense of purpose were less likely to die from any cause, compared to those who felt aimless or isolated. So ask yourself, what gives me joy? What makes me feel useful, connected, alive? It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's gardening, teaching your grandkids how to cook, writing letters to old friends, These things may seem small, but they feed your soul, and that matters more than most people realize. Another thing that often holds people back from living fully in their later years: pain. Chronic pain can drain your energy, your motivation, even your hope. But here's where science gives us some tools. Did you know that gentle movement like Tai Chi, water aerobics, or stretching can reduce chronic pain levels? A study from Harvard Medical School showed that people who practiced Tai Chi regularly reported less arthritis pain and better balance. Why? Because movement boosts circulation, supports joint health, and releases endorphins, your body's natural pain relievers. And it's not just physical. Mindfulness practices like meditation or deep breathing have also been shown to lower pain perception. When we slow down and tune into our bodies, not in fear, but with curiosity, we give ourselves space to heal. Even 5 minutes of quiet breathing in the morning can lower stress hormones, reduce inflammation, and help you feel more in control. And control, that's a big one, isn't it? So many people feel like aging means losing control. But that's not true. You still get to choose what you eat, how you move, who you talk to, what you focus on. In fact, your mindset may be one of the most powerful factors of all. Researchers at Yale found that older adults with positive beliefs about aging lived 7.5 years longer than those with negative views. Not because they had better genes, but because they approached life with curiosity, resilience, and hope. So if you catch yourself saying, "I'm too old for this," try shifting that thought. Say instead, "I'm still here. I still have time. I'm still capable." Because you are. You are capable of change, of healing, of joy, of starting fresh. Now that you have all these tools in your corner, physical, nutritional, emotional, it's time to bring it all together with one final message you won't want to miss. We've covered a lot today, haven't we? But at the heart of it, it all boils down to this: aging well isn't about chasing youth. It's about creating strength, energy, and clarity with the choices we make each day. Whether it's lacing up your shoes for a 10-minute walk, swapping that sugary snack for a handful of almonds, calling a friend just to say hello, or finally giving yourself permission to rest, these moments matter. They add up. They shape your future. It's easy to feel like aging is something that happens to us. But the truth is, there's so much you can do to take the wheel. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. You just need to start, one small step, one small shift at a time. Because remember, after 75, 99% of deaths come from just 5 causes: heart disease, cancer, respiratory illness, stroke, and neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. And while some of that risk is out of our control, a surprising amount is not. Experts like Dr. Michael Greger, who's dedicated his life to studying disease prevention, often say that up to 80% of chronic illness can be prevented, or even reversed, through simple lifestyle changes. Not medications, not expensive treatments, but things you can start doing today: eating more whole plant-based foods, staying active, sleeping well, managing stress, and staying socially connected. These aren't just health hacks. They're tools for freedom to travel, to laugh, to dance, to be present for the moments that matter most. And if you're thinking, "But I've already wasted so much time," let me stop you right there. Because no matter where you are in your journey, it's not too late. There's a story I love about a woman named Jean. She was 89 when she started learning how to paint. She had never picked up a brush in her life, but she said something that stuck with me. "I might be old, but I'm not done. There's still beauty inside me that I want to share." Jean went on to create dozens of pieces, even had a little art show at her local senior center. People were blown away. And more importantly, Jean was happy, alive, engaged, purposeful. That's what we're aiming for here, not just more years, but more life in those years. Let's recap, not like a list, but as a gentle reminder of what's possible. Start moving just a little. Whether it's a short walk, dancing in your living room, or stretching while your tea brews, movement is medicine. Eat to nourish. Load up on colorful fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, and whole grains. Drink water, not soda. Give your body what it needs to fight inflammation and thrive. Prioritize your sleep. Create a relaxing nighttime ritual. Avoid screens before bed, and give yourself the gift of real, restful sleep. Stay connected. Call someone. Join something. Volunteer. Laugh. Love. Be around people who make you feel like you still matter, because you absolutely do. Protect your brain and body with purpose, with gratitude, with learning. Read. Create. Reflect. Stay curious. Stay kind. And most of all, believe in yourself. Your body might be older, but your potential? It's still wide open. Maybe you'll never run a marathon or bench press your weight. And that's okay. What matters is feeling better, having more energy, waking up with fewer aches, more joy, more peace. That's what living well is all about. And if this video gave you even one new idea, one little burst of motivation, or one spark of hope, then it was worth making. Because you're not alone in this. We're in this together. We'd really love to hear from you. What habit are you working on? What's one change you're proud of? Or maybe you have questions you want answered, or topics you'd like us to explore in a future video. Leave a comment below. We read every single one, and your words could inspire someone else watching this. And hey, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on more practical tips for healthy aging. We've got some amazing topics coming your way, and we'd love for you to be part of this journey. So here's to you, to your strength, your story, your future. Here's to living your best life at any age. You're still here. You're still capable. You're still becoming. Let's make the most of it together.